Imagine reaching 70 and realizing the rules you followed your entire life no longer make sense. Why are we still expected to chase youth, even after we've earned the wisdom of age? At 70, shouldn't we be allowed to embrace our true selves without society's outdated expectations weighing us down? Why are we told to slow down when some of life's most meaningful moments happen only after we've lived through decades of experiences? And isn't it time to question those myths we've believed about aging? Are they still true, or have we outgrown them? Reaching the age of 70 is a milestone that not everyone is blessed to experience, and it should be embraced with a deep sense of gratitude. At this stage, life takes on a different hue. It becomes a time of reflection, where the years of hard work, sacrifice, love, and growth have seasoned you with wisdom. The gift of longevity offers the precious chance to slow down, to breathe, and to savor every moment as a new opportunity. With the weight of younger years behind, it's an invitation to release what no longer serves us and focus on what truly brings peace and fulfillment. The later years of life can be seen as an uncluttering process, not just physically, but emotionally and mentally. In the early phases of life, we often gather possessions, obligations, and attachments. But after 70, it's time to let go of unnecessary things, both tangible and intangible, that have weighed us down for far too long. This chapter of life calls for shedding the old so we can fully appreciate the now, embracing the freedom that comes with a simpler, more meaningful existence. In this video, we're diving into 9 things that just don't add up anymore after turning 70. From the pressure to stay forever young to the unspoken rules about slowing down, we'll break through the misconceptions and explore what aging really means today. Let's challenge the old standards and uncover how life beyond 70 can be not just fulfilling, but full of new discoveries. 1. Letting go of others' opinions. From a young age, many of us are conditioned to care about what others think. It might start with trying to please our parents, and then later extends to friends, co-workers, and even society as a whole. For decades, we might carry this heavy burden of worrying about being judged or criticized. By the time we reach 70, however, there's a beautiful clarity that emerges. We finally understand that other people's opinions do not define who we are or our worth. Imagine the freedom of living your life based on what feels right to you, without needing validation from others. The need to conform, to gain approval, or to meet expectations imposed by others starts to dissolve. This doesn't mean we stop caring about the people in our lives, but rather that we place more value on our own voice, desires, and truth. There's incredible liberation in making decisions based on your own inner compass, and with it comes a profound sense of peace. Let us tell you a story about one of our friends, Mary, who learned the art of letting go of others' opinions in the most profound way. Mary had always been the kind of person who strived to please everyone. As a child, she was the star student, always pushing herself to win her parents' approval. This drive for validation followed her into adulthood. She became a successful lawyer, and though she loved the intellectual challenge of her work, much of her success was fueled by the need to be seen as impressive by others, her colleagues, her family, even strangers at social events. She dressed impeccably. Her life was organized down to the last detail, and from the outside, she seemed to have it all together. But inside, there was a quiet sense of exhaustion. One pivotal moment changed everything. Mary was in her mid-50s when her father, who had always been her greatest critic and her greatest source of approval, passed away suddenly. The grief she felt was deep, but what struck her even harder was the realization that she no longer had anyone whose approval she was constantly chasing. Her father had been the voice in her head all these years, and now that voice was gone. In the months that followed, Mary began to reflect on her life, and a strange but liberating thought emerged. What if I lived for myself? She began to question the choices she had made. Had she become a lawyer because she loved the law, or because it was a profession that would make her look successful in the eyes of others? Had she spent her years curating the perfect image, or had she built a life that truly made her happy? One day, sitting in a cafe with a close friend, Mary expressed these thoughts aloud for the first time. Her friend, who had always known Mary's struggle with seeking approval, listened patiently and then said something that shifted her entire perspective. You've been living under the weight of other people's expectations for so long that you've forgotten how to breathe for yourself. That conversation was the turning point. Slowly but surely, Mary began to release the burden of others' opinions. She allowed herself to explore hobbies and interests she had set aside because they didn't fit into her carefully crafted image. She took up painting, something she hadn't done since college, simply because it brought her joy. She traded in her expensive corporate wardrobe for more comfortable clothes that made her feel good, not just look good. In her career, she no longer felt the pressure to be the best or to outshine others. Instead, she focused on work that mattered to her. And she found that this brought her a deeper sense of fulfillment. Even in her personal relationships, Mary began to set healthier boundaries. She realized that saying no didn't make her a bad person. It just meant she was finally listening to her own needs. 3. Saying no to unnecessary social obligations. How many times have you gone to a gathering out of a sense of obligation rather than genuine desire? Over the years, it's easy to find ourselves doing things simply because it's expected of us, even if those events or commitments no longer bring joy. But now, in your 70s, you have earned the right to say no to the unnecessary. You don't need to fill your days with events or obligations that drain your energy or leave you feeling unfulfilled. Saying no isn't about being selfish. It's about protecting your time and energy so that you can focus on the people and activities that truly matter to you. This stage of life offers a wonderful opportunity to prioritize what feels nourishing, whether it's spending time with loved ones, enjoying a quiet day in nature, or engaging in hobbies that bring you joy. Every no creates space for more meaningful yeses. Before embracing authentic beauty, society often pressures us to maintain a youthful appearance. There's an overwhelming focus on wrinkle creams, hair dyes, and endless attempts to reverse the natural aging process. But by the time we reach our 70s, there's a beautiful wisdom that tells us true beauty is so much more than physical appearance. It lies in authenticity. The lines on your face, the gray in your hair, these are badges of honor. They are a testament to a life fully lived, a journey that has been filled with experiences, challenges, and growth. By embracing your natural beauty, you're not only honoring your journey, but also freeing yourself from the exhausting pressure to meet society's unrealistic standards. Authentic beauty radiates from within, from the kindness in your eyes, the wisdom in your words, and the grace in your presence. When you accept yourself fully, you inspire others to do the same. In a small, quiet village nestled at the foot of a mountain, there lived a woman named Elena. At 72 years old, her face bore the marks of time, etched with lines that traced stories of joy, sorrow, laughter, and resilience. Her hair, once a rich chestnut, now shimmered in silver streaks that seemed to catch the sunlight just right. To the outside world, Elena might have seemed ordinary, but to those who knew her, she was a living testament to the beauty of authenticity. Years ago, Elena had been swept up in the same societal expectations many women face, the relentless pursuit of youth. In her younger years, she spent countless hours trying to conceal her natural aging process, buying every cream and dye that promised to rewind the clock. She dreaded the day her first gray hair appeared and would pluck it out with urgency, as if its absence could hold back time itself. But with each passing year, she found herself growing more and more weary, not from aging itself, but from the pressure to pretend she wasn't. One day, after a visit from her granddaughter Sophia, Elena had an epiphany. Sophia, who was only 16, had sat across from Elena at the kitchen table, complaining about her skin and fretting over her appearance. "I just don't feel pretty anymore," Sophia had confessed, her voice full of insecurity. Elena was struck by how early the seeds of self-doubt had been planted in her granddaughter's mind, the same seeds she had once nurtured in herself. That evening, as Elena looked in the mirror, she saw something different. The lines on her face were no longer imperfections to be hidden, but a roadmap of a life well lived. The gray in her hair wasn't something to be ashamed of, but a symbol of wisdom gained through decades of experience. For the first time, she saw her reflection as a mosaic of memories and lessons, not a fading image of youth. The next morning, Elena did something she had never done before. She put away her wrinkle creams and hair dyes for good. Instead of hiding her age, she decided to embrace it fully, choosing to see the beauty in every crease and every strand of gray. She no longer viewed aging as something to fight, but as something to honor. As months passed, Elena noticed a shift in how people responded to her. It wasn't that they complimented her on her looks anymore, but they were drawn to her presence, to the light in her eyes and the warmth of her smile. She radiated a quiet confidence that was far more captivating than any smooth complexion could ever be. When she spoke, there was a depth to her words that only comes with time, and people began to seek her out for her wisdom and perspective. One day, Sophia came to visit again. She sat next to her grandmother, and after a long conversation about life, love, and dreams, Sophia looked at Elena and said, "Grandma, how do you always seem so comfortable with yourself? I feel like I'm always trying to fit into someone else's idea of what I should be." Elena smiled softly and took Sophia's hand. "You see this face?" she said, pointing to the wrinkles that adorned her skin. "These lines are from every time I laughed until I cried. These are from the nights I stayed up late worrying, the times I learned something the hard way, and the moments I found peace in the smallest things. My gray hair? It's from years of caring for others, learning, growing, and living. I used to cover it all up, thinking that's what I had to do to be beautiful. But real beauty, Sophia, comes from living life authentically. It comes from being yourself, no matter what anyone else says or thinks." Sophia listened intently, her heart softened by her grandmother's words. In that moment, she realized that beauty was so much more than flawless skin or perfect hair. It was about kindness, wisdom, and being true to oneself. Elena had learned to embrace the beauty in her imperfections, and in doing so, she had freed herself from society's unrealistic expectations. As Sophia left that day, she couldn't help but feel lighter, as if a weight had been lifted. She knew her grandmother's journey wasn't unique, but it was a powerful reminder that authentic beauty is something far deeper than physical appearance. Elena had taught her that true beauty comes from within, the kindness in your eyes, the wisdom in your words, and the grace in your presence. Elena's story became an inspiration in the village. People admired her not for how she looked, but for the way she carried herself, for her openness and strength. She had become a beacon of what it meant to live fully, embracing every aspect of oneself, flaws and all. She no longer conformed to the world's shallow standards, but lived by her own, richer definition of beauty. In the end, Elena didn't just change the way she saw herself, she inspired others to do the same. Her journey was a reminder that the most beautiful thing about any person is their authenticity, their willingness to embrace who they truly are inside and out. 5. Reevaluating activities that no longer bring joy. As time goes on, it's normal for our interests and passions to evolve. Something that once brought you immense joy in your 30s or 40s might now feel more like a chore. It's important to allow yourself the freedom to let go of activities that no longer serve your happiness. Your time is precious, and how you spend it should be a reflection of what truly fulfills you today. Whether it's a hobby you once loved but no longer feel connected to, or an obligation that now feels draining, it's okay to release it. This is a time to rediscover new interests and to reignite old passions that might have been forgotten. Be open to exploring new avenues of joy, learning new skills, or simply spending more time in activities that bring a sense of peace and contentment. You have the freedom to shape your days as you wish. To let go of outdated hobbies and pursuits, one of the first actions you can take is to assess your current activities. Start by setting aside some quiet time each day to reflect on whether your hobbies still bring you joy or have become a routine that no longer excites you. Ask yourself if these activities energize or drain you. As you do this daily, keep a journal or make notes about how you feel after engaging in these hobbies. This self-awareness is the first step toward recognizing which pursuits no longer align with your current lifestyle. Begin to gradually reduce the time spent on these outdated hobbies. Rather than stopping abruptly, try limiting how much time you dedicate to them each day. For instance, if you've been gardening for hours but no longer enjoy it, set a timer to reduce it to 30 minutes. Then use the extra time to explore something new. You could spend that time taking a short walk, reading a new book, or joining an online group that shares an interest you've never tried before. This gradual change will help you shift your energy without feeling overwhelmed. Stay curious and explore something new every day. You don't need to commit to anything big right away, but take small, daily steps toward discovering new activities. Try listening to a podcast about a topic you've never explored, sign up for a free online course, or reach out to friends or family for recommendations on activities they enjoy. This daily practice of exploring opens up new doors and helps you find hobbies that resonate with who you are today. Allow yourself to rest and appreciate quiet moments without feeling the need to always stay busy. Each day, make time to simply relax without an agenda. Whether it's enjoying a cup of tea while sitting in your favorite chair, meditating, or taking a leisurely walk, these moments of stillness are just as important as pursuing new hobbies. Letting go of outdated pursuits creates space for rest and reflection, which is essential for well-being and personal growth. 6. Cutting ties with toxic relationships. Relationships play a pivotal role in our happiness and well-being, but not all relationships are healthy. As we get older, it becomes even more important to assess the people we allow into our lives. Are there individuals who drain your energy, who bring negativity, or who leave you feeling worse after spending time with them? In your 70s, you deserve to surround yourself with love, support, and positivity. Walking away from toxic relationships is not a selfish act, but rather an act of self-preservation and self-love. Surrounding yourself with people who uplift and support you fosters a sense of peace and belonging. At this stage in life, your circle may grow smaller, but it will be filled with the richness of genuine connections that truly matter. As we grow older, maintaining peace in our lives becomes a top priority. We need to focus on relationships that bring us joy, not stress. Toxic people can drain our energy and leave us feeling worse after every interaction. Choosing to distance ourselves from these relationships is an important step in protecting our well-being. It's about valuing your peace and letting go of those who no longer add anything positive to your life. Toxic relationships can take a toll on both our mental and physical health. Constant negativity can cause stress, anxiety, and even impact our physical well-being. At this stage, our energy should be directed toward things and people that bring us comfort. By removing toxic influences, we make room for healing and personal growth. Life feels lighter and more enjoyable when we focus on people who genuinely care for us. Establishing clear boundaries is essential when it comes to dealing with harmful relationships. You don't have to cut ties completely, but creating some distance is often necessary. Whether that means reducing contact or having a difficult conversation, protecting your peace is the priority. If certain relationships leave you feeling drained more often than uplifted, it's time to step back. Taking care of yourself is not only important, but vital to your well-being. Healthy relationships are built on mutual respect and care. It can be challenging to let go of someone you've known for years, but if they consistently bring negativity, it's worth reassessing that connection. Your later years should be filled with positivity, and that means surrounding yourself with those who support and value you. Just as we prune a tree to help it grow stronger, cutting out toxic connections allows us to thrive emotionally. Distancing yourself from negative individuals is a way to show self-respect. It's not selfish to prioritize your own peace and happiness. Making these choices can be hard, but it's important to remember that your emotional well-being comes first. Whether it's a friend who's constantly critical or a family member who creates tension, stepping back can be freeing. By doing so, you protect yourself from ongoing stress and open the door to greater contentment. The people who truly care for you will honor your boundaries and respect your need for peace. Surround yourself with those who bring positivity into your life. In our 70s, we've earned the right to focus on what brings us happiness and comfort. Protecting your peace from toxic relationships is about creating space for more fulfilling connections. When we let go of the negative, we make room for more love and joy. 7. Letting go of comparisons. It's human nature to compare ourselves to others, but comparison can often rob us of joy. From a young age, many of us measure our success by looking at what others have achieved. Whether it's material wealth, career success, or family life, we often place ourselves in competition with others. But by 70, we begin to understand that everyone's journey is unique. The freedom that comes with letting go of comparisons is priceless. When you stop measuring your life against someone else's, you open the door to appreciating your own story, the struggles, the triumphs, and the lessons learned along the way. You are free to honor your path without feeling weighed down by what others are doing or achieving. This is your life, and your journey is your own. 8. Redefining goals. As we move through different phases of life, our goals naturally evolve. The ambitions you once had in your younger years might no longer resonate with who you are today, and that's perfectly okay. This is the time to redefine what success and fulfillment mean to you now. It's not about chasing goals that no longer align with your values, but rather about setting new ones that reflect the person you've become. Whether it's dedicating more time to relationships, focusing on personal growth, or pursuing a lifelong passion, this is the perfect stage to create goals that bring true meaning to your life. The beauty of aging is that you have the wisdom to know what truly matters, and you can focus your energy on what makes your heart sing. The ambitions that once drove us might not feel the same anymore, and that's perfectly fine. This is the stage to redefine what success means to you, embracing the person you've become. Start by reflecting on what truly matters to you now. Maybe you once chased career success or material achievements, but today, fulfillment might come from nurturing relationships, growing personally, or indulging in passions you've set aside. Each day, take a moment to think about the goals that align with your current values. Ask yourself, what brings me joy? What do I want to focus on moving forward? One simple action is to dedicate time daily to activities that resonate with your heart. If relationships are important, make it a habit to reach out to loved ones, even if it's just a short phone call or message. If personal growth calls you, carve out time to read, meditate, or learn something new. By spending even a little time on what matters to you, you'll find that your days become more purposeful. Your call no longer serve you. If you've been holding on to outdated ambitions out of habit, it's time to release them. Acknowledge that it's okay to change direction. You're not giving up, you're evolving. Start by identifying one goal that no longer fits and consciously replace it with something that excites you today. Make space for creativity. As we age, we have the wisdom to appreciate the beauty in new beginnings. Try something you've always wanted to do but never had time for. Maybe it's painting, writing, gardening, or volunteering. The act of creating, whether it's art, connections, or experiences, brings a deep sense of satisfaction. Each day, we have the power to redefine what success means to us. By focusing on goals that reflect who we are now, we open ourselves to a life filled with meaning, joy, and purpose. You've gained the wisdom to know what truly matters. Now is the perfect time to act on that wisdom. 9. Prioritizing your own happiness without guilt. Perhaps one of the most important lessons learned with age is the necessity of prioritizing your own happiness. For many years, you may have put others' needs ahead of your own, whether it was raising children, supporting a partner, or fulfilling work responsibilities. But now, at this stage of life, you've earned the right to place your own happiness front and center. It's important to realize that prioritizing yourself isn't selfish. In fact, when you are fulfilled and content, you have more to give to others. By embracing your own joy, you set an example for those around you that life is meant to be lived fully, with love and purpose. It's time to honor your own needs, desires, and dreams without guilt. Reaching 70 is an incredible gift, one that brings with it the wisdom and freedom to live more authentically. By letting go of the burdens of others' opinions, material possessions, unnecessary obligations, and toxic relationships, we create space for what truly matters. This chapter of life is an opportunity to embrace the simplicity, joy, and peace that come with living in alignment with our truest selves. Let this be a time of lightness, laughter, and love as you continue on your beautiful journey. Do not grow old, no matter how long you live. Never cease to stand like curious children before the great mystery into which we were born. Albert Einstein. This quote from Einstein encourages us to hold on to our sense of wonder and curiosity, no matter our age. The words remind us that aging doesn't mean losing our spark or sense of adventure. Just because we reach a certain age doesn't mean life stops offering new experiences, lessons, and mysteries. Society often pushes the idea that aging is about decline, slowing down, becoming invisible, and focusing on the past. But Einstein's words challenge that notion, suggesting that staying curious and open to the world is what keeps us truly alive, regardless of how many years we've lived. In fact, these words resonate even more powerfully as we age. At 70 and beyond, we've accumulated the wisdom of life experiences, but we can still approach the world with the curiosity of a child. There's a balance between embracing the lessons we've learned and keeping our minds open to the endless possibilities that still lie ahead. As we age, we don't have to follow rigid paths set by society. We can redefine what it means to grow older by staying engaged with life's mysteries. This mindset not only enriches our lives, but also frees us from the pressure to conform to expectations that no longer make sense for us. So rather than allowing age to confine us, we can see it as a new chapter where curiosity, discovery, and growth remain central. Einstein's wisdom reminds us that life, no matter how long or short, is about staying engaged with the world. It's about refusing to let the passage of time dull our excitement for the unknown. This is the essence of living authentically, continuing to evolve, explore, and cherish the journey, long after we've hit those societal milestones.